morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Mind Voyage, the podcast that loves mental health and mental wealth. Today we bring back someone that loves to go hard in what he does. He's the illustration of integrity, competence, and just straight structural love, man. This guy, every time I'm around him, I love the energy. I love my thoughts when I'm around him. He makes me want to work out like a bench like fucking 500, and that could break me. That could fucking break me. And I love to bring back Kevin Morrison. Thank you, Kevin Morrison.
Wow, well, thank you very much for the intro. For you guys that do not know me, like he said, my name is Kevin Morrison, and I've been a longtime friend of Abe's. We went to the same high school together. A little bit about myself. When I was younger, I started playing football. I've trained martial arts since I was 5 years old. I'm really, really big on positivity, being kind to other people, and understanding, that perspective, integrity, awareness, self-awareness, and courtesy to others really leads to a positive future. And I just try to display that in my work. I started a clothing company, that's what we're wearing right now for you guys that do not know, Loud Clothing, in March during COVID. And the reason I did that, like I said last time on the podcast, was because I was almost running out of options and I needed to find a way to make something happen. And how better to make something happen than to take it into your own hands? And that's what a lot of us are seeing today nowadays, especially in 2021, is that we have to take things into our own hands. I mean, COVID has unfortunately and or fortunately, for the better or worse of humanity, forced us to play our hands. And so for the people that need to get things done, and the people that, had goals beforehand, and now you get a rock thrown into the blender, so to say. So you got to see how, it forces people to show, their true colors, show their spine and stuff. And yeah, that's me. That's what I try to do every single day. And I try to be myself and really work towards my goals. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah, I love it. What are the things, because some people don't really have that mindset. So what do you think are, because obviously, what do you think what are some things that you think, what do you suggest people should do, as in choices to kind of bring that out of them? Because some people are in their shells and they don't really want to get out, and they're scared.
What are
the steps?
The first thing to know too is that everyone develops at different rates. So that's level 0 is understanding everyone develops at different rates. So you don't get upset at yourself no matter what position you are in life. Whether you're on the street or whether you're a CEO, there's always someone that knows more and is doing it a little quicker or doing it slower. It's just part of the world. It's part of being, human. It's not everyone's perfect and no one's perfect. It's just the way it is. And then step 1, I would say, would just awareness. Be aware and accept your situation. Accept, this is what they tell people if they have, they're in rehab or something, right, and they have a problem with drugs, is accept the situation you're in. Look around, look in your shoes, really understand that this is you and this is the situation you're in. Whether you like it or not, it's up to you to get yourself out of it. You can only ask so many people for help before it's like the boy cried wolf situation, right? So you got to understand that you have to pull your boots up. No matter who it is, no matter what your life is like, you have to pull the boots up, and that's just part of being human. It's like an animalistic world. If you look at a tiger in the wild, right, and that's something that humans have idolized, an animal like this, for being fierce and for being a predator and for chasing down its prey. It's the same thing that you have to try to reflect in your day-to-day life. So you may think of yourself right now as like a rabbit or something, where you don't want to go out, you don't want to face conflict, you don't want to do that, and that's okay to be a rabbit, but you have to understand when to turn on those instincts. And those instincts develop over time. So if you play contact sports or something, you'll develop over time this ability to kind of get into the game. It's the same thing as someone who plays chess. They get into the game. There's someone who's doing high-level physics. They just zone everything out and they get into it. And what the common theme with every skill in life is stuff takes time. So I'd say that's step 2. So step 1, going over it, step 1, awareness and understanding your situation. Step 2 is taking the time to really develop the skills right. If you get into weightlifting, don't start trying to rush weights. Just do the form correctly. And if you do the form correctly for 4 or 5 years, you'll end up lifting more than if you were rushing weights for 4 to 5 years. It's the same thing with everything else in life. Just go through it a day at a time, pat yourself on the back, celebrate the small victories. And when you really understand the losses in life too, because nothing comes from winning over and over and over. It only comes from failure. Yeah, it only comes from failure. And you guys know that, I know that, everyone, that really has got themselves out there and dealt with pain, dealt with failure, understands that. So, but for the people that don't, that is something that, I mean, personally, my opinion is that growth will never develop, like I said, out of winning and winning and winning. It only develops from failure, and only develops from dealing with adversity. So I'd say that's a couple steps. But a mindset in general, from my experience, is a little bit more complex than just laying out the goals or the steps for everyone, because it's a different thing for every single person. You know this, I know this, and the people at home will probably agree with this, is no matter what you listen to or who you listen to, it's a different thing altogether for everyone, because no matter what you listen to, you're not actively doing. And actively doing, I'd say, is the only way to develop what your mindset is. So to understand the perspective. It's like, do, go back to the drawing boards, what worked, what didn't. And then as you continue to pursue something, you'll understand that this is like a passion to pursue what you're pursuing. And then the mindset directly sprouts from that passion. At least a mindset of achieving. So.
I told y'all he was competent. I told y'all. But for real, when I hear that, man, it kind of makes me visualize you, or even myself, kind of putting myself in there or out there, just kind of not looking for the positivity, but understanding that I am doing this to kind of get out of my own shell. Because something I don't really like to kind of focus on is that I do have fucking horrid social anxiety.
Yeah,
like it's
tons
bad.
of people do. Yeah,
it's bad. Yeah. But the only way I'll ever break out is if I go out and have conversations.
Yeah,
it's just like how to build confidence. You don't go and talk in front of thousands of people. Yeah. You say hi to a random person on the street.
Yeah,
you start the little ways, and it kind of builds up that structure. Yeah. So I want to ask, like, how did you start that confidence? Even because there must have been a time that you were just like at your lowest low.
Oh yeah. This happened like many years ago. At least over half of my life. I'm 19 years old, and I started dealing with, I guess you could say, like, mental health issues when I was like really young, like 4 or 5 years old. And then as time progressed, I kind of got things more under the wrap because I was forced to. Life forced my hand at a really young age to really, I was left with a choice where either I pursue something great or I turn to dust, essentially. Like, I'm going to be nothing or I'm going to be the best. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like how I viewed it. And when you deal with adversity enough, anyone that's been through really, really hard adversity in their life, and they're like, they've got past the point where they found a passion, right? They will always say the same thing. And it's like, dealing with adversity will make you stronger if you let it make you stronger. Like, if you really try to learn from every situation, like if you're getting picked on, like I used to get picked on really heavily, how do you learn from that, right? How do you look at how people handle situations? How do you look at how people handle situations with you? Well, then that's like the same thing as developing like a social construct to how you deal with conversations. So it's like, well, last time I said this to this person and it didn't work out and they did something rude, right? Well, let me try to go be their friend. Let me do this. Let me try all these different things. And that's what I did for many years. And that kind of gave me the sensibility where I was like, okay, now I understand that I'm not going to get anything from these people. I have to look inwards and I have to figure out who do I want to be. And that's what's going to bring ultimate happiness. At least to me, this is my opinion, is that what your inner voice says, what your inner passion says about who you are. I mean, technically it's the ego, the story you tell yourself since birth, right? But whatever that tells you is your best, it's your most in concrete version of who you are. So, but developing skills, as far as I developed this when I was younger, dealing with adversity. I'd say that's the short answer to it. Yeah.
What are the things you learned from creating Loud?
Oh, from creating Loud, it's just every day. There's like new stuff every single day. Oh my God. One, you have to be faithful in your product. So whatever you're trying to sell, no matter if you're making $10 or you're trying to make 1,000 or 100,000 or whatever, if you're trying to grow it over the course of 10 years or just sell lemonade, you have to really be faithful and be caring for the product that you're trying to sell and or make, because you want to create a sense of community, right? And if you really care, that community will get made for you. Mm-hmm. People can tell when you're not being truthful, and when you're not, it's a natural human instinct when you could tell someone's not really in it, or they're in it for something. Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows. It's like animals smelling fear. It's the same thing. So if you really display an emotion, if you really, really, really try other people are going to see that. And it doesn't matter how much hate comes your way for the first year, 2, 3, 10 years. It doesn't matter how long. Eventually, people will see it because it doesn't matter. Like someone could see loud in let's just say in the first month, right? And they're like, oh, this isn't going to last, like whatever. And they keep looking. And after a year, it's been 12 months and they're like, wow, it's still going. I'm going to actually get something now. And like, that's something that like I had to learn. And I kind of learned from football too, but it's like be persistent, and from Taekwondo especially. You got to have perseverance. I learned that from Taekwondo and martial arts. You got to have perseverance. So even if it's difficult for a long time, it will get better as long as you persevere. If you persevere, things will come your way.
How did those things from martial arts, Taekwondo, kind of correspond with your business? And all right, I'll just.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great question, though. That's like a phenomenal question because martial arts in general, like everyone learns it a different way, of course, throughout the entire world. But the way I learned it is that they especially taught like core characteristics of what makes a person a like quote unquote good person, like kind of so to say. So perseverance, integrity, indomitable spirit, self-control, self-awareness, all these things I apply to pretty much every situation in your life. I mean, whether you're going to school, you have to have, it's like an indomitable spirit, which means that you're not going to be conquered. You're going to try and try and try, just like how perseverance means no matter what's going on, you have to keep your head down and keep moving forward. Like, it's like if you were running like a 40-kilometer run or something, right? Perseverance is when you're on that 20th, you're halfway and your body's tired, but you keep going. And you persevere through it, and then when you make it to the end, the goal's it's even sweeter. The reward is always sweeter once you travel the journey.
I wanna ask one more.
Yeah.
Actually, fuck that. I wanna ask 2 more questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you think this is our biggest uplifting or downrising?
Oh,
waiting for that question.
That's
Down,
like
like-
that's like philosophical.
That's
That's like
deep,
no. Phones. It depends the person, depends the perspective that they're dealing with. Some people go on their phones 8, 9, 10 hours a day. If someone's on their phone, what are they using it for? Are they wasting their time, or are they growing something? Are they trying to learn a new skill, right? I think first of all, there's no way we can go back. There's no way humanity can go back. So it's almost like you ought to believe that it's for the better, because if you're believing it's for the negative, you're not gonna, you're not gonna really do anything. And so many other people are gonna utilize the internet because the phone's not really the powerful piece. It's the internet. Because the internet is this grand spectrum of community, right? So if you learn how to utilize the phone, if you educate yourself on the phone, you realize you shouldn't be sitting there for 12 hours a day just scrolling senselessly, but you should be one of those people that you're looking at. So it's like when you look on your phone and you're like, oh, this is a cool video and stuff like that, become one of those people. Post those things. Become one of those people that affect the community, and you'll often find that you learn a lot more and you utilize it a lot better. Because there's been times where everyone succumbs to scrolling through Instagram at like 1 a.m, just like senselessly, right? And time like that could be used to sleep, or time like that could be used to eat, or whatever course in the day. So phones, I don't think are innately good or bad. I think it's just the person behind it that really matters.
I saw something by. Do you know who Duncan Trussell is?
I think so.
Have you ever heard of Midnight Gospel?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
So
I know who this is. He's awesome. I love this guy. I love this guy.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Super.
He's funny and he's super nice, and he's just a good guy to watch. Yeah, his voice is really fun to watch and listen to. Yeah.
But he said he was just like, he was talking about how he always like kind of he wants to what was that word?
Utilitarianism or utilize?
Utilize, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And he says to utilize, like, he asks how people utilize their time.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, well, I don't have any time. I don't have this. And it's just like, well, let me check your screen time. Let me check your screen time. And then they have all this long hours. And it gets to the point where you're just like, there's no excuse. Even when people are just like, oh, I start work at 8. Okay, well, wake up at 5.
Wake up at 5.
Wake up at 5 and just... I understand it's not easy to wake up at 5, especially if you have to work. But take that time to kind of not automatically just turn to your phone, because that blue light is like a fucking light into your eyes, into your brain.
It's so bad for
you. Waking up towards your phone and doing that for the first thing can kind of kind of like fuck up your day or fuck up the rest of your day.
Definitely can, yeah.
Because the beginning of your day kind of means the rest of your day.
Yeah, for sure. It's setting the tone, and that's I've been told that so many. That's like it applies for all sports and life for everything. But I've been told that specifically in football so many times. It's like before the game, like we got to set the tone first play, like, and that's just how it is. That's with life. That's everything. You come out the gate, you got to go running. Like you got to set the tone. So it's like when you wake up in the morning, the first thing in your head should be, you're going to kill this day. Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make some eggs. Like, you just start structuralizing your day from the bottom up. And then as your day can, at least this is what I do. My opinion, obviously, is nowhere near justified or has merit compared to someone who is like a pro athlete or someone who is a CEO of something large or something like that, because they've obviously had more time to go under it. But from the position I sit in, that's how I structure my days. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. And I kind of want to bring back what you said about, like, it's either life or death. And I kind of want to, like, bring back that word death. And I just want to take the time to say my condolences and my love goes towards everybody who lost someone in 2020. R.I.P. to Ebonique. R.I.P. to Taylor. R.I.P. to Scotty. Rest in power to all those people. And I send love to all your family. I understand that we're going through a rough fucking time, but if you need somewhere to eat, if you need someone to talk, if you just need someone to be silent with, we're all always here. We're all always willing to listen, because some people just don't want to just talk to get that fucking shit out. Yeah, and we're 100%. Here. We're here. Rest in power to all the individuals that we lost.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, there's been a lot of hardship in this community
for the last little bit. I mean, just like think about the people in the last like 2 weeks from Poppy, like talking about Scott, that doesn't even feel real. Yeah. I grew up with Scott. I known him since kindergarten. So, I mean, that's someone who I grew up with. That's someone who experienced, to me, like, I want to talk about Scott for a second, because this guy really did, like, he was really a national treasure. This guy was a proper human being, and a lot of people didn't realize the type of person he really was. You know, they see that he's popular, they see that he's a nice guy and friendly and stuff. Well, why is he like that? And I got to know Scott for the reasons why he did things when I was younger, because I used to get picked on like crazy, and Scott was one of the very few people, probably 3 or 4 people, that ever treated me with respect since I was really young all the way till, unfortunately, the time of his death. He always treated me with respect. When I was younger, he would invite me over to his place to hang out when no one else would, and he would stand up for me when no one else would. And so that really proves the character. That proves that he's always been a genuinely amazing person. And that's really hard to say. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can look themselves in the mirror and be happy with who they are, because a lot of people have regrets. But I think, fortunately for Scott in his case, I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for him, but I don't think he has a lot of regrets, because looking from an outside perspective, he was about one of the best kind of people you could ever be. Yeah. And all to all those people as well. I mean, like, unfortunately in life, a lot of people don't realize what they have or like what they care for until it's gone. And so for our community, the only thing I can say from this lesson is take it with, you know, a grain of like light, like a little bit of sunshine, like a grain of salt, like that kind of thing. You know, not all negatives are just innately negative. This is terrible, and it will always be terrible. It's a tragedy. But from this, our community can grow a new flower. Yeah. And our community can come together and support his family, like you were saying, support these people that need help. And then that will overall and through time structure our community. So death is a crazy thing, but it unfortunately follows every single one of us. Every single one of us has a shadow and a time, and it will come for us one day, and there's no escaping.
In a way, life is a part of loss.
It is.
Because we lose our hair, we lose the leaves, we lose the teeth.
Relationships, friends, this, that, next thing, food, your house, financial. There's always loss in life. There's no such thing as a life without loss.
But we did gain love.
Yes,
it brought a lot more.
That's the most important thing.
A lot of individuals I saw that kind of grasped the death and saw it was time to get together.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Even during these times, even during the pandemic, and I see that, and it brings me great joy that these people had so much love that they can impact even when they're not here.
Oh yeah,
and that's
the legacy.
The legacy. That was a beautiful legacy. I saw a video. I believe Ty. You know Tetris.
Yep.
I believe he posted a video on Snapchat, And it was just Scotty and T-Press, and he was just like, Scotty. And I love that. It brought me fucking goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because I remember being at those parties, man, and then even going to school, and he was a little silent around me, but he had a calm energy.
Yeah, he was a very calm person. Yeah. And he affected a lot of people, like you said, positively. I don't think there's anyone on this earth that can raise their hand and be like, oh, I didn't like that guy. It's just not possible.
And he was
not even, but he was just such a good guy. You know, he was such a good guy, and I think that's how it's important to leave it at that. With that, you know what I mean? Like he was a good guy, and that's what his legacy is. His legacy is that he affected everyone and brought them together. He was the glue of so many relationships, and that is so important. And to me, man, that's worth more than any financial status, more worth than any medal or anything. That shows true character.
That's beautiful, man. Do you want to leave anything for anybody that's watching? Because someone who's watching, I can see that they're needing something in life. They're wanting something in life for a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you've watched this far, you obviously have. I mean, the truth is you have free time. So if you've watched this far, you have free time. All I can say is that continue doing you, utilize the free time, and start trying to pick something up new. It's 2021. None of us, fortunately, are passed away. We all are breathing. I mean, hopefully you got arms, legs, whatever. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you can that, you know, is your kind of thing. So if you want to play chess. Do an extra rep. Do an extra set. Think about the people that really, you know, why you do it. Think about your why. Think about your why factor, why you do things if you have problems with getting out there, getting motivated. But word of the year is perspective and perseverance and all these different words. Indomitable spirit, perspective and perseverance. That's really important, and I think everyone's gonna crush 2021. All we got to do is come together, build a sense of community, and really link hands for this because we're all in it together. There's no better time to say we're all in it together, and I think everyone is gonna come out of this okay as long as they keep their heads high and understand that, you know, we can do it. Everyone, we can do it. That's all I gotta say. Keep doing you. Keep staying professional. Keep pursuing your goals, and the good things will come.
Of course, man. Oh, that was a beautiful first 2020 or 2020. Where the fuck am I? 2021.
2021. Yeah.
The first episode. It feels great to be back. We're obviously taking the restrictions carefully and seriously.
No.
Taking tests.
Everyone's taking a test.
We're taking tests.
Yeah, we're being safe.
We're being very safe. And we love you. We appreciate you. And do you. Mind Voyage.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone.
Woo! Let's see your pee-pee.